Okay, hello again. I'm excited today to get back to building agents here on the channel. I've been playing with a lot of different tools on the stream and showing how to set up lots of different things, but I want to show you how to build agents, and I want to build agents with people. So today I'm excited about a couple things. One, we have this project to revamp our docs with lots of great new material coming out. You'll see here I'm running the dev branch so I can show you a couple things early. But these will be out, in the next few days. So I'll put links to the real docs in the discussion below. So one area of the docs that I'm particularly excited about are these framework guides. And one guide in particular I've been paying attention to is the Mastra guide. So Mastra is an agent framework for building agents with TypeScript. It has support for creating tasks and workflows that your agent can execute, wiring in new tools. It of course supports MCP, and I've just done a lot of cool prompting and building with this framework in particular. So I thought today what I would do is try to prompt an agent from scratch, roughly from scratch. I pre-baked a few things that I'll share with you, but I've not actually tried this flow before, so a lot of this is going to be live, and we're going to see what happens. So let's see, a couple of things. First thing I'm going to share is this set of prompts that I'm going to run today. And this is how we're gonna try to build our agent. We're actually just going to take each of these prompts, feed it into Cursor Agent, and see what it codes us. See how close this can get us. Before we jump into that, though, one thing that I think a lot of people that have been building with Cursor Agent or in Windsurf or wherever you're coding with AI have been learning is basically give the agent guardrails, lots of guardrails. And so one way to do that in Cursor is to actually give it Cursor rules, which the agent will use to understand your project, to kind of stay within the bounds of what you're expecting, to have good quality control, stuff like that. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to set up a new project in Cursor. We're going to give it some Cursor rules to operate by, and then we are going to start prompting it to build us a fully operational agent using Mastra, Recall, and Claude in particular. So if you pull up this set of prompts before we get started, there are a bunch of things that are going to actually change here, so I'll update this video probably as soon as next week with some new material. But this agent that we're going to build in particular is going to try to use data from the internet, from Substack and Twitter, I believe, to try to detect tradable signals in crypto. And this is kind of cool because this is related to a competition that we're launching about detecting alpha in crypto. And so this agent is actually kind of a beta version of an agent that you would build for that competition. Can it detect signals that are valuable and potentially tradable? None of the information coming from these agents should be seen as trading advice, obviously, or trading recommendations. This is actually all just for fun. So that's what we're going to build. The things that will change next week, we're going to actually launch some tooling to help do simulated trading and things like that for this particular competition. None of those are available yet, so they'll come out right after the docs revamp. In fact, you can kind of get a sneak peek of some things in here. These are all going to likely go through another few rounds of review, but you can see kind of what's coming from a little sneak peek there. Okay, let's do this. Let's set up our Cursor project and see if we can build an agent. All right. Now, like I said, we're going to add some rules. Let me make this bigger for you all and can make that smaller for me. All right, so we have our interface to the cursor agent here. You'll see here I'm using Claude. I've got thinking enabled. I've been experimenting with Gemini, very impressed there. Some trade-offs, I can get into that. But this is our terminal, so we can run some things. These will be our files. So you can add cursor rules a few different ways. You can add them in here, but what you really want to do is you just want to create a folder here called cursor, and then inside of that you want a folder called rules. And then if you check out some of our repos, so if you check out our JS recall repo, I've been working on getting the rules nice and tidy in there. So if you go to the recall.net GitHub organization and go to JS recall, you can actually see this folder, and you'll see we break out our rules into different different categories of rules, which is very helpful for organizing these. It doesn't matter what you call this, and we're just going to do it in one because I'm just going to give you the rules to drop in here. You'll see cursor here has a custom interface here. You're going to set the rules. This rule type from this file is always, so the agent's always going to respect these rules, and you can do a bunch of customization there too. Later, but let's just go ahead and all get up to the same speed as we're doing this agent speed run. We're going to use these rules. So this is called Mastra recall rules.mdc. It's a markdown file. I'll share the gist of this file. All you got to do to get it, you can just click raw, see the raw data, the raw file here, copy that, select it all, copy it, then just come in here and drop it. Great. I haven't validated these rules, so I think they're roughly right. I just saw something that was suspicious, but they work. So improve them if you like. There's definitely improvements to be made. But with that, now our agent kind of knows what are our expectations around setting up a TypeScript project, using Mastra, using recall, stuff like that. All right. So we got our repo, we got our folder for this project. We've got cursor rules in place. And now we got to go through the prompts. One thing so I'll share this gist below. So these are just the prompts that we're going to try to copy paste into Cursor Agent and see what it comes up with. And hopefully we'll have one of those moments when it just works, but it almost never. I've had very few vibe coding sessions that is really the case. So we'll see where it goes off the rails. Now, one last caveat I needed to give. In these prompts, we're going to tell the agent about this guide, this Mastra guide in the docs. But like I said, these are going to be published after I publish this video. So I have this markdown file, and it's in my gists also. So I'll put this link in the description below for now. I'll update that description later to use the one directly from our docs because it'll be improved probably even. So use whichever you see. Use the gist or the real docs link, whichever you see in the description. And we're going to have to update one of our prompts to reference that correctly. But other than that, I think we're ready to go. So prompt one, let's go ahead. Let's see how these copy pastes from Markdown into Cursor. I'm wondering because we kind of want the Markdown formatting. So I'm just pulling up a Mac app called Macdown. It's not perfect either. Here for GitHub flavor rendering, but what's kind of cool if I do it this way is we can look at the rendered markdown and then I can copy paste the raw markdown. What you're going to want to do likely is what I just did here. Look at this gist, but actually click raw, read it here. You know what? It's actually not bad just reading it here. Let's just do that. That'll skip me having to navigate lots of apps. So, and besides, we're just copy pasting. We're not actually going to read this. All right, so let's get started. Prompt 1. Project initialization and quality tool setup. If some of these prompts to the agent take a long time, I'm just going to cut them out of the video and we'll kind of move quickly. Oh, I really dislike it when it does this. It creates the project in the project folder. Okay, let's just roll with it. We'll assume it's right until it's not. All right, what is it? What are you up to? All right, cool. It's getting all the quality things in place. I'm just gonna keep accepting to get those dialogues out of the way. So let's take a look at what it's done in our package JSON. Yeah. All right, looks like it got lint, prettier, TypeScript, and type docs all set up. It's now installing some dependencies. Looks like it got our TS config going. It looks like we're going to use pnpm as our package manager. Looks like it's getting ESLint all set up. And then it looks like it's already started to create, it created a hello world for our app. Okay, great. Now it's just getting prettier going. All right, so what are each of these things? Prettier, it looks like it set it up. Yeah, prettier is just gonna make the code formatting look nice according to a specification. And if you run that, it will fix it automatically. Lint is going to lint all the code. It looks like it has a fix command to just automatically fix any lint warnings or errors if it can. And then it's going to build with TypeScript. And let's see what else it got going here. Pretty basic but thorough setup for prompt 1. Okay, yeah, so all it knows so far is that it's a Node.js TypeScript project, I guess. And we've already gone through many iterations. Okay, so it looks like it's just kind of working through lint setup, getting all the right configuration in place. Very curious what it is writing in here. Oh, it made it in the end. Okay. Let's move on while it keeps working on that to prompt 2. Okay, so prompt 2, it looks like, you know, I should, okay. I'm gonna just tell it what we're doing now. All right. Let's just tell it we're on prompt 2 here. Okay, so this is the case. Prompt 2 is the case. And once our docs are out, I will try my best to remember to update this just with the link so you don't have to do it. But this will be the place where you need to change this placeholder with my gist or the live docs if they exist. So just cut that out. You see how cursor applies this at in front of it and highlights it? That is because it's going to try to fetch it from the web. I believe that's what it means. It's going to try to fetch it from the web. It's a link that you actually want the agent to go read. Okay. Ooh, it's having a rough go at getting lint set up. So what are you doing? Okay. Oh, it's just checking. Everything worked. Everything appears to be working. Why is it getting so hung up? Okay. Okay, it's given up. It's quit ESLint setup. All right, let me see. Let's see. Let's just go here into JS recall. I'm going to look at a couple of, I'm going to look at a couple of example packages where we could just pull the ESLint from. Yeah. So just looking at that, I think all I need is this. Does this have type? Oh yeah, TSE. Okay, so this should just be it, right? Oh. What's right, okay, so that makes sense. The JS repo uses a library called Turbo to manage the mono repo. What What did I forget to cut out of here? Yeah, turbo plugin down here, right? That works. Okay. Agent. Human 1, agent 0. All right. Prompt 2. Let's see what happens. All right, so what are we doing here? Let's take a look. Funny, okay. All right, let's see. Let's clear a bunch of those off. Huh. Okay. Don't know why it left the primary index TS and then the recall agent. Let's see what's going to happen here. Yeah, it's going to confuse itself later perhaps, but all right, so what has it built so far? It's got the Mastra agent. Okay, it looks like it's setting up the environmental variables. All right, so it looks to me as though it's mostly been successful here at setting something up. It builds I see. Okay, now one thing. All right. So yeah, I just don't want later it to think it's doing things great because the build is passing, or like we're using the build. It's seeing if the build, I don't know what to get confused by, but that looks to me like a concern. Okay, great. So it just rewrote that. That's perfect. Yeah, if you missed it, it just created a second file for the recall logic and left our index file, the hello world. So I'm just avoiding future confusion. All right, so let's get ready for prompt 3. We're going to enhance it with crypto trading capabilities. Now, all right, this is a pretty big prompt. What are we going to do? This prompt is going to add this data omni feeds MCP. So this gives access to Substack, Twitter, and CoinGecko, just as examples that were kind of quickly wrapped as MCP servers. Just ways to get that stuff into my agent quickly. So it's not going to be a supported server or anything like that, but for demos and playing around, it's quite handy. What does this Omni Feeds MCP server do? You can give it to your model, and your model will then, if it has the proper API keys, have the ability to query things on Twitter, fetch articles and query things on Substack, and fetch pricing and information about tokens from CoinGecko. You could swap any of these out with other solutions. It's just a quick demo to get you kind of a bundle easily. The other thing it's going to add is this sequential thinking server. So this was created by Anthropic, and it just kind of helps your agent break out tasks into steps and move through them pretty efficiently. All right, so it's going to get in the code, it's going to set up access to each of those MCP servers. And you see it's going to need the environmental variables. So it's going to set up, it's going to create the config for the Omni feeds, for the sequential thinking, and for recall, all in this step. And then we're going to update our instructions to the agent. It's just going to give it instructions on how to store data, store its predictions. I'm going to actually edit that, so follow along here. And it's going to update the prompt given to the agent. And that's it. Okay, so let's grab this whole thing and see if it's not too complicated. One thing I wanted to edit in here was, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was gonna just I just want to simplify this because I was actually playing when I first prompted the prompts that we're using here. The format was expecting access to one of the tools coming out, and so I just don't think all those fields are going to be available easily through a couple calls to CoinGecko in this case. So if you're going this far, actually, it is worth noting that to get this to run, you're going to need your recall private key. So that's just your wallet private key. You're going to need your Twitter and your CoinGecko credentials and private key. If you don't have a CoinGecko API key, this costs money. I can't remember what their free account is, but you might be able to do it on a free account. If you can't, you can omit this API key and then just change the prompt sections below to tell it, don't tell it to go get token prices, and don't tell it anything about storing its token price predictions or anything like that. So just edit these prompts. These are prompts just like you would give Claude or OpenAI. So just edit them to be more in line with what will be capable. This is a copy paste error. Just want to make sure. Okay, let's give it a try. All right, where are we at here? I just want to all right, so yeah, you'll see it's creating this example environmental file. It's also stubbing out a real one for me that's going to have all the wrong keys. But this is where you're going to fill out your credential information. So you're going to need your private key on recall. This recall network is always going to be testnet. You're going to need an Anthropic API key. If you want, you can use an OpenAI API key or a OpenRouter or whoever you use. You'll just have to change a little bit the code. I think, yeah, you'd have to change this to import OpenAI and then change below to use the right OpenAI model. So below where it calls Anthropic, you instead would call OpenAI. You import OpenAI and you change this to OpenAI and GPT-4o or whatever you're going to use for a model. So yeah, you'd have to change that. And then CoinGecko, like I said, if you've got it or you're on a free account, you can give it a try, see if it works. If not, omit it and change your prompt. Okay, it says it did it, so let's just blast forward. We'll test it later, right? Okay, so we're there. Says we're there. So I have all those environmental variables in another project. So I'm just going to copy them over and let's take a look. So the way you run this now, well, let's see what it actually said. We're just going to do the script to start it. Yep. Interesting. It must have been doing this back when it had two files. So we'll just get rid of one of those. Yeah, I spotted that too. I'm not even sure where that was used. Oh, okay. Okay, that was the wrong thing to do. Let me just delete that. Let's ask the expert really quick to do this. I just forget what that is. Let's look at another reference here. Uses next. I guess we did not need that, so hey, okay, let's, oh, we get an error. Which one? Ah, okay, of course. Wait, why is that of course? I know why. I thought I was being quick here, but remember when we first started this, okay. Right, when we first started the agent, it created this subfolder for working in instead of where I really just doing it in the root parent folder. That's fine. Okay, let's skip that. So the cursor agent is also trying to run it, but just doing QA. So looks like it worked. Let's accept that and let's try again. All right, so you see it loads up the skills server. It says a bit of what it's got going on there. It has access to Substack and CoinGecko. Cool. Loads up the sequential thinking server. That works. The recall MCP server. That works. And then it's responding to our prompt. Grabbing a Substack article. I don't even know what Substack it got, but that's cool. I don't know what Twitter list this is, but this is just a test. Okay, it identified some tokens. It's checking the prices on CoinGecko. It analyzed these. Remember, this is not a very intelligent agent, so it's mostly just mocking some behaviors. Now, right, I've hit this issue before. It had more work to do. So a couple things to improve here. It looks like it didn't fully finish the job. And it didn't use the sequential thinking. Okay, and so it didn't finish its task. And so the reason I believe it didn't finish its task okay, I don't know where that was coming from, but let's oh, I see. Okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, but I don't think it's finishing its task because it's not here. Yeah, here. So, no, where is it? Where are you? using, yeah, we're using the streaming method here, and max steps, of course. So if you have so the default max steps are 5. So that means that the agent's going to work through 5 rounds or 5 steps of the processing here. And here we're asking it, go read Substack, Twitter, go do fetch prices, et cetera, et cetera. And so it just maxes out. Try to limit the number. So anyway, it maxed out its steps, and so it just quit. So with that new setting, where did I put that? Let's just make it big. Realize that this is going to cost you money on the model endpoint you use. So, all right, nice and fresh. Guess it didn't matter, but let's watch it work through here again. All the tools get set up correctly. Oh, of course. What's a good Substack that might have some mentions? So, oh yeah, is it this? Yeah. No, I think the ID we want is more this. Yeah. Okay. So we're just not telling it enough of what to do. Get rid of that because we're not giving it a Twitter list, just giving that. So let's see if it can get the information it needs to do anything from there. Okay. Perfect. Fartcoin detected. Right, so yeah, okay, now it's working. Now it's off fetching BitTensor, Fartcoin, etc. Sweet. Okay, getting us some stats there. Oh, what was the analysis? Okay, cool. Now it's going to sort through the prices and the discussion of those tokens that it had. You can see, obviously, you give it a lot more tools here and a lot more context. Okay, it says it stored stuff based on the analysis. So let's go over to the recall portal. You can just go to portal.recall.network, and then you're gonna fire up a bucket like this. Now I have some more things in staging that I want to look at here. So this is just a local build of the portal. So exact same thing, but I just wanted to see some interfaces here. Okay, so it stored it in this folder, and Well, it says it stored it in that folder. That is incorrect. All right, let's try this again. I figured out the problem, asked one of my team members why that would error, or why I was seeing this error. Obvious. I had actually run out of tokens to cover the gas. So let's go ahead and run this again and see if we can see some files on the portal. Okay, everything's working. Same as last time. That's great. Okay, cool. So this time it's going to try to create a new bucket. And if that succeeds, great. We're back in business. We got our bucket created. We got a new bucket ID. So now we should be able to go back to the portal, and you can just go to the public portal, but I'm going to pull up some fun new yes, that's today's date. Okay. That's okay. We're going to have the file previews coming very shortly, so you'll be able to see this in the portal. This is the exact same thing, more or less, that you can see in the public portal. Unfortunately, nothing exciting to show you here today. But we can verify that our file is storing. And one other thing, in either the dev portal or this portal. Okay. Cool. Well, let's take a look here very quickly. Yep. So we stored the analysis JSON and we stored the prediction JSON both into our bucket. And yeah, the agent works. It is 100% promptable. Couple little catches there to get it on track, but more or less it's there. So just follow the video and you have a working agent at the end that's logging all its information and one step away from you joining our first agent competition. But hope you enjoy and have fun building.